This episode of FineScale Modeler's New Product Rundown features AFV Club's 5-ton truck, IBG's pretty RWD-8, Eduard's high-altitude Spitfire, tools from UMM-USA, and a big DeLorean you get by mail.
New Product Rundown brought to you by HobbyZone USA, your source for hobby storage solutions, hard-to-find hobby tools, and aftermarket modeling needs.
Welcome to New Product Rundown, FineScale Modeler's twice-monthly show where we take a look inside some of the latest kits and other accessories. I'm Aaron Skinner.
And I'm Elizabeth Nash. Let's kick this episode off with AFV Club's 1/35th scale M54A2.
This is the basic cargo version of the M39 5-ton truck that served with U.S. Armed Forces from the 1950s through Vietnam.
Inside a box marked with Vietnam-themed artwork, the kit is packed with olive green plastic sprues.
The chassis comes as 2 long rails with detail front and back, and separate cross members.
This curbside model's engine is represented by only an oil pan and underside, but there is more of a complete representation of the transmission and transfer case.
The remainder of the drivetrain includes drive shafts, 3 axles with heavy-duty differentials, wheels, and 2-part tires with nicely molded hubs. The axles are anchored to the chassis with leaf springs.
Steps, tools, and fuel tanks detail the frame.
The cab comprises a floor, steering wheel, shift levers and other controls, dashboard and firewall, seats, rear wall, sides with separate doors, and a windshield frame. This kit calls for a soft top, but there's a hard top included also.
The rest of the front end includes a hood, fenders, engine compartment sides, external air cleaner, radiator, and grille. The front bumper features a winch and thread for a cable.
The bed has a floor with braces underneath and stress depressions on the upper side, sides with wood grain planking on the upper sections and separate lower frames, front panel, and tailgate.
The foldaway troop seats along the sides are separate, and there are large mud flaps underneath.
The kit provides bows for the bed cover to pose it open and an optional cover with bows molded inside.
Clear parts provide cab windows and posable windshield sections as well as lights, and a photo-etched fret supplies tie-downs, hooks, and more.
A small decal sheet provides markings for 3 trucks and includes instruments for the dashboard and placards for the cab.
AFV Club looks to have produced another winner here.
From IBG, here's a 1/72nd scale RWD-8.
This Polish parasol monoplane was used as a primary trainer in the years leading up to World War II.
More than 550 were built, and they were operated by several other countries during and after the conflict.
Including Romania and Hungary, the users represented by this kit.
The RWD-8 is a small plane, so this kit is relatively simple, comprising just 2 sprues.
The nicely molded fuselage halves have faceted fabric sections and raised metal cowl panels.
Inside, frames line the cockpit sections.
The vertical stabilizer and tail skid are molded on one half.
The horizontal stabilizers feature structural detail.
The one-piece wing has nicely molded ribs, thin trailing edges, and control surfaces with ribs.
The struts are scale thin and their attachment points are nicely fine.
The cockpit comprises a floor, seats, and controls.
Interplane struts, wheels, and the prop finish the basic airplane.
Tiny clear windshields are provided.
Decals provide markings for 5 RWDs, 3 Romanian, and 2 Hungarian.
This is a good-looking kit of an interesting and pretty plane, and given the quality of recent IBG kits, this should go together easily.
Checking out another aircraft, here's the latest version of Eduard's 1/48 scale Spitfire, the HF Mk.VIII.
Powered by the Merlin 70 and often equipped with extended wingtips that improved climb rate and ceiling, the HF was designed for high-altitude performance.
Eduard's 1/48 scale Spitfires have been around since 2013, and the basic sprues remain unchanged here from previous Mk.VIII releases. Optional parts have always been a feature,
including the pointed wingtips used on the HF.
It comes with the C or universal wing with room for 2 or 4 20mm cannons and 4 .303 caliber machine guns. This kit calls for just 2 cannons.
Detail parts for the cockpit and control surfaces are finely molded, and there's sharp landing gear parts, exhausts, and the prop.
Clear parts include lights and optional open or closed canopies, and there are masks to paint them. There's also colored photo etch.
If you want to see the kit parts in more detail, check out NPRD episode 60 and our preview of the first Mk.VIII from Eduard. There's a link below the video.
Marking options have always been a highlight of Eduard kits, and this one provides 5, including 3 RAF fighters, 1 in high altitude camouflage and 2 in desert colors. The others are South African and American.
Eduard Spitfire builds well, and this kit offers another choice to expand your collection.
Now, John Vojtech may be familiar to many of you for the super detailed models featured in FSM, including his AC-130, B2, and F-15.
But he spent the past decade focusing on his customized tools available through his UMM-USA website.
He's created a couple of new things that caught our eye, including the 3rd version of his versatile scriber.
Made from specially hardened steel, this scriber is longer and thinner than previous versions and seems to be easier to hold and control.
There are 2 sharp blades, and they can be used for 2 different kinds of scribing.
The angled edge can be pushed across the surface and is great for making long, straight lines.
It's also a great way to restore lines lost through sanding across seams.
The hooked end can be dragged across lines and is heavy enough to cut without pressing.
John has also launched a series of micro chisels. The largest seen here has a 3mm wide blade.
It comes with a custom designed handle for ease of holding.
And the blade is exceptionally sharp and makes quick work of unneeded details or ejector pin marks.
Check out these and other special tools at UMM-USA's website.
Finally, let's take a look at Eaglemoss's 1/8 scale DeLorean from Back to the Future.
This kit comes in regular installments delivered directly to your home, along with magazines of instructions and behind-the-scenes information about the time-traveling movie trilogy. Each installment costs $10.90, but as a FineScale modeler reader, you can get the first 2 for just $1.95 right now and with free shipping.
For example, the first set of parts included a 16-page magazine with an article by Bob Gale, who co-wrote the first script with Robert Zemeckis, and another about the design process behind the iconic DeLorean.
But the meat of the first installment is the parts. They go together to build most of the rear panel, including separate taillights and personalized plate, which features separate registration tags.
The major body parts, including the rear panel, are heavy die-cast metal.
The parts are molded in color or painted. The finish on the body parts is very sharp.
The parts either push together or join with screws.
That makes assembly quick and easy.
Fit is perfect on the parts I tried, but some of the items benefit from a little cleaning on edges to refine the appearance.
Even with that extra work, the first section was done in a few minutes.
The second installment finishes the lights and provides the first body panels.
And so it goes, over the course of 130 installments, typically delivered 4 at a time every month.
There are plenty of features to enjoy, including opening gull-wing doors, front trunk and hood under the reactor that exposes the DeLorean V6 engine.
And it lights up, including the head and tail lights. The brake lights come on when the brake pedal is pushed.
Even the time circuits and flux capacitor do their thing.
To subscribe, visit www.deloreanbuildup.com/FSM.
Now obviously, the DeLorean is a serious investment in money and time. See what I did there?
But if you're a fan of Back to the Future, this is the ultimate replica.
Look for a build review of the M54 in an upcoming issue of FineScale Modeler magazine.
And you can see more new products in the July issue, on sale now.
Thanks for visiting FineScale.com. I'm Aaron Skinner.
And I'm Elizabeth Nash. And according to Gray's Sports Almanac, we'll see you last time.
Yeah, they also predicted the Cubs would win. Nicely fine. 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 Nicely fine.
Nicely. This is a good-looking kit of an interesting and pretty plane, and given the something of a something, nicely fine.